Talking college sports in the Deep South where college football is king. And we like to think that the SEC conference is one of the better conferences in all of college football. The results speak for themselves. Also, the SEC West, one of the better sub-conferences in college football as well because of the fierce rivalries, the interconnecting rivalries. One of my favorite games outside of some of the games that Auburn competes in is the Alabama and LSU rivalry. Once again, it's K2 to go for Vernon Speaks Sports. Down in East Alabama where Auburn University rests, they call that place the loveliest village on the plains, and the battle cry is a resounding War Eagle. Come on, guys, let's get this comment section active. We recently talked about Joey Gatewood, who is one of two quarterbacks who are competing for the starting position for the Auburn Tigers. None other than Bo Nix, who is the son of Patrick Nix, former Auburn quarterback and two-time 7A Alabama state champion at Pinson Valley High School, also Mr. Alabama for 2018 War Eagle. We talk about the Avocare Classic that will be taking place in August 31st, Labor Day weekend, down in Arlington, Texas, against the Oregon Ducks, who have a lot of moving parts out of Eugene, Oregon. They like to play in the place that they like to call the Zoo, better known as Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, very beautiful part of the United States. Also, Oregon boasts the number 7 recruiting class coming into this season, and also a very important coaching change at the defensive coordinator position as far as Andy Avalos goes. Now, we talk about Andy Avalos, Mr. 335. He likes to variate that particular defense. Most of the time when you see Andy Avalos in action defensive-wise, you have 2 down linemen and you have the other 2 guys that stand up. You also have a hybrid type linebacker. Also, he has a lot of skilled players coming back, including Troy Dye, and also a huge recruit in Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, the reason why I bring this up today is that Auburn is in the midst of a quarterback battle, and the quarterback that's going to be appearing in the Avocare Classic is going to be a highly inexperienced quarterback. Either A, you're going to have a guy right out of high school, or B, you're going to have a guy in Joey Gatewood who has very, very grossly limited action as a quarterback on the college ranks. Now, to bring this point home, Andy Avalos' defense is predicated on disruption. When I see, some of his defenses with Boise State, some of the glaring numbers that come out, I can kind of understand why they happen, because Andy Avalos' defense is very predicated to zeroing in and creating constant pressure on the quarterback. And if you look at the results thereof, you're talking about more than 10 forced fumbles, more than 10 fumble recoveries, which could be a factor in the Avocare Classic, considering that you have a first-year starting quarterback. So you can almost be rest assured that Andy Avalos' key is going to be, at first, trying to put pressure on a brand new quarterback, especially in a high-consequence environment where the anxiety is going to be very, very high. So no matter who the quarterback is for the Auburn Tigers, they will have to be very prepared, and they will have to be prepared to make very, very good decisions. Now, I will say this. If I had my choice, you can't control how the coin toss goes. Just to settle things down, though, let's just say Auburn does win the toss. In the Avocare Classic, I would advise that the defense hits the field first, because the defense is more experienced. The defense has the possibility of, say, creating a 3-and-out and getting the field position thing going. It gives a brand new quarterback the opportunity to kind of survey the thing and kind of get a feel for what's happening around him, and not have to take the initial snaps of a huge non-conference game in a neutral site, first game of the year. All eyes in the country are on you. So when we look at Andy Avalos and what Andy Avalos is probably going to try to attempt against Auburn, I would predict that massive pressure will be put on the quarterback. That's one of the reasons why Andy Avalos was hired because of his defense's abilities to create turnovers, to create anxiety, and to create disruption. And that's something that you will see in the Evercare Classic, and it's going to be very important, again, because you have an inexperienced quarterback. So why wouldn't the defensive coordinator try to exploit that strength of his particular defense, considering all the elements involved? I think Oregon will come into this game as a top 15 team in the country at least, obviously with aspirations to become the Pac-12 champions for the first time since 2014. And also, you do have to look out for the fact that in the Pac-12, Utah is going to be making some noise as well. As a matter of fact, Washington took on Utah in the Pac-12 championship on last year. Washington able to squeak out of that game and become Pac-12 champions. So I think what we need to do is really look out for this as we talk about who's going to be the quarterback going into the Evercare Classic. We need to keep in mind that Andy Avalos' defense is very predicated on putting massive pressure, creating anxiety and disruption, especially to the quarterback position. There's no mistake that that's the reason that he's been able to produce defenses that create turnovers, especially fumbles. And usually fumbles are created either by the quarterback or the running back. So making the right reads in the run-pass option is going to be very huge for the Auburn Tigers going into the Evercare Classic. Once again, it's K2 to go for Vernon Speak Sports. We're talking Auburn football, getting prepared and geared up for the Evercare Classic. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and also get into the comment section. Get that thing very active. Until next time, guys, War Eagle.